How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Set 6, and today we're going to be talking about some stuff that we saw in the recent Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer, and it's something that's kind of got everybody a little bit in the community recently. And it's Cid. Our lovely little Cid Highwind, because a few people think that he may have changed a fair bit, and going off what we saw in this trailer, he definitely has changed a little bit. So we're going to go over all of the Cid Highwind information that we've got, and just try and throw out a few possibilities for what's going on with Cid. Don't forget, drop a like on the video, subscribe for future content. Again, we finally hit 2k, thank you very much for everybody. Let's keep pushing for 3, but that's enough of that. Let's crack on with it. So we all know Cid Highwind. If you've played the OG, then you know him as the Shearer-hating, tea-drinking, cigarette-smoking legend that lives in Rocket Town. And it will quickly touch on his story a little bit. So basically he's been a pilot for Shinra for all these years. He was like the main guy that was going to fly a rocket into space and, you know, get Shinra's space program going and be the first man into space. However, due to some technical difficulties while the launch was going on, Shearer, whichever, she ended up staying in the engine room running some final tests. If Cid would have gone ahead with the launch, she would have been incinerated, so he aborted the launch. And this leads to Cid blaming her quite heavily for the fact that his dream didn't happen, when in reality, let's be honest, it was Shinra. But on top of that, Shearer herself kind of feels responsible for it, even though we'd find out later that she was fully justified in what she did. But she still feels like she's responsible for it, and therefore she sticks about and kind of takes the abuse from Cid, kind of feeling like, you know, I kind of ruined his dream. She obviously loves him a little bit as well, let's be completely honest. Like, that's quite apparent in the OG, I think. Let me know if you agree with that, but I kind of feel like it's quite apparent in the OG, because otherwise she'd have just fucked off and left by that point. Do you know what I mean? She would have left. She wouldn't have stayed there and put up with it, because he is a bit of a dick to her in general. So that's the setup. That's kind of the Cid we know, and that's the state of Cid when we meet him in the original game. Now in Rebirth, it seems like that is completely different now, because not only do we have Cid behaving differently in the trailer, but we also have confirmation from the official FF7 Twitter account, which kind of posted this description of Cid, and it basically says that we meet him early because he's kind of running a shuttle service using the Tiny Bronco between a variety of airstrips around the world map. We flag him down, and he ends up helping us travel around the world map using the Tiny Bronco. So we've initially got quite a few differences there. You know, straight off the bat, we've got quite a few differences. We don't meet him as late as we do, I would expect. I would expect that we're going to meet him quite a bit earlier, potentially even at Junon, like I predicted on stream a few months ago. Me and chat were chatting about it, you know, as chat does, and we were talking about, could we end up meeting Cid early, and if so, when? And Junon was a big shout. We did speculate that we'd get the Highwind early, but the Tiny Bronco looks like it's going to take its place, and the Highwind will be saved for part 3, I would assume. Now, looking at the shots that we get in the trailer, it looks like the Tiny Bronco is taking off from one of the abandoned airstrips. It looks like that's potentially where we have the conversation between Aith and Cid. And if we're looking at the area around it, if I had to guess somewhere, I'd probably guess Gongaga. That'd probably be my best guess. It seems like the only place that'd have structures built into a forest, because as you can see, there's a structure in the background here. We've got the abandoned runway airstrip kind of thing going on, but there's a lot of dense kind of jungle cover around in the area. The only other place that I'd think of would maybe be Bone Village, but like, I feel like that's very, very, very late game, and I don't know if there'd be an airstrip there. I mean, potentially, but yeah, I'm going to guess Gongaga. Let me know if you've got any other ideas or guesses for where it could be. I mean, I suppose it could be near some of the forests around Junon and the Mithril Mine area, but no, I feel like this is going to be Gongaga. Like I say, let me know. So, things are very different around Cid, and there are a few possibilities for this, but the first thing I want to address is, has he been censored? Because a lot of people are saying, this is it, they've ruined Final Fantasy VII. First they make Tifa's tits smaller, then they don't have blood in the Shinra building, and now Cid doesn't swear and smoke. Rah, rah. And I think I just need to tell you to chill. We've seen Cid for about, 5 seconds, so we don't really know anything. And there's 2 possibilities as far as I can see. Maybe three. But there's 2 possibilities, really, from what I can see. And both of those kind of explain the Cid that we're seeing right now. And again, we only see him for about 5 seconds. That scene with Aith could end and Cid could just pull out a cigarette, light it, smoke about 3 drags of it, and then put it out on Red 13's face. So, you know, he could still be the Cid we all know and love. Yeah, he could still be that guy. You never know. Like, we've literally seen a few seconds of footage. But there are a couple of possibilities to explain this narratively as well. So, the first one, and this was where my mind initially went to, and it seems to be where a lot of people's minds have gone to, is that Cid's either working directly for the Shinra to try and trace the party, track the party down, follow the party, keep tabs on the party, or he's kind of gone out on his own and seen them and thought, wait, Shinra are after these guys. Interesting. Maybe this will get me some favour. That's the general thought process that people seem to have gone to, and it's possible. I'm not going to sit here and rule it out. Like I say, it was the first thing my brain went to. It is possible. It just, I don't know. It just feels a little bit simple for me that that's what he's going to do. It's possible. It is very possible that that's what he's going to do. But at the same time, this is a Cid who knows what Shinra are like. He knows what they're like. And granted, we've got Rufus coming in and he might be thinking, ho, Rufus, new kid, might get some stuff off him. And like I say, it is possible. It's a strong possibility that this is what's going on. But something about it just doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. I could be massively wrong on this one. I've been right about a few things recently, but I could be massively wrong on this one. But Cid behaving like that, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't feel right. Like I said, could be hugely wrong on this. But I feel like he'd already know enough about Shinra and potentially enough about Rufus to know that he'd be putting himself at a lot of risk betraying this group of really strong people for potentially nothing. That's what I feel like Cid would eventually land on. But again, it is a strong possibility that he is betraying the party and either directly working for Shinra on like Rufus's request, or he's kind of took it upon himself and thought, yeah, this'll ingratiate me to Shinra and get me back in with the boys, might get me to launch my rocket into space, I'm going to do this. It's possible. However, I do feel that there is another possibility, and this is something that we've already seen happen in the game twice. So for it to happen a third time wouldn't be completely unrealistic and outside the realms of possibility. And this is that Cid has somehow acquired some knowledge regarding, maybe not necessarily the whole picture, but maybe just that he needs to help Aith. Maybe via the planet itself, or maybe as we've seen previously via Aith, he's acquired some sort of knowledge of what's going to happen. And I don't think he'll know the whole picture. I don't think he'll know the whole story. I don't think Red 13 knows the whole story. I don't think Marlene knows the whole story. And in the same way, Cid won't know the whole story. But Marlene was scared of Aith backing away from her, made contact with Aith briefly, and immediately trusts Aith. Red 13, angrily reacting to the party. Aith reaches out, lays a hand on him, immediately trusts the party. Why are we ruling this out as a possibility for the future? Because it's happened twice already, and it would still leave it open for Cid to be a spicy dick to everybody else. He could still be the same old Cid. I honestly feel like it's just Aith, because in that scene he doesn't say, hey guys, I can help you all out. He says, Aith, is there anything I can do? And it genuinely makes me feel like he knows something. He knows that he specifically needs to help Aith. That might be the extent of what he knows. And the source of it could, like I say, it might not be Aith, it could be the planet, it could be anything. It could be the Whispers, I don't know why. It could be a variety of things that let Cid know that he needs to help Aith. But there's something that's happened clearly. That or he's just betraying everybody. I don't know which it's going to be. I think it could easily be the betrayal thing. I think it's very simple if it ends up being the betrayal thing. And it would just eventually lead with the party getting to Rocket Town, Cid trying to hand us over to Shinra, Shinra being like, no, you're not going to space, dick. And then Cid gets angry, betrays the Shinra, and we end up in the same situation that we were in the OG. That's probably the most likely route to go, but again, like I say, I think it's a bit simple. I feel like he knows something. He's intent and focused on Aith, specifically Aith, talking about helping Aith and doing whatever she needs. He knows something, I think. Genuinely feel like he knows something. But one thing I do want to say is, I do still think we'll get the same old Cid. Like, people have been saying there's no cigarettes under the glasses, and maybe they've censored it. I feel like it'd be a bit dumb if they did, especially considering Final Fantasy XVI, Cid was just walking around chain smoking like a bad man. So, you know, it's not a Square Enix thing to not depict people smoking. It may have become an FF7 thing, but I doubt it, because I'm pretty sure we saw people smoking in Remake. So yeah, I think we'll see Cid popping out the old cigarettes and drinking the old tea and shouting at Shira. I need to come up with a decision on how I'm going to say her name. I really do. I really do. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. I just wanted to throw out the two possibilities, because I think they are the two main possibilities. And the most likely one is that he's doing some Shinra-based stuff and he's going to betray the party. That's probably the most likely. I just wanted to throw out the other one as a possibility, because we've seen it before, it's happened twice, why wouldn't it happen again? Just a thought. Anyway, drop a like on the video, subscribe for future content, leave your thoughts in the comments below on which way you think this is going to go, but more importantly than anything, have a great day.